In this section, we're going to talk about the different ways you can adjust an action after you've played the action. So once you've played an action, you have was basically a filter over your image that's changed your image. So this is before and this is after. The two main ways that you're going to see me adjust these in Photoshop are simple ways to fix some of the things that the filter did to your image and it doesn't look as good, so you can make it a little bit better. The first one is called opacity. What opacity does is it makes the visibility of that filter go from 100% all the way down to 0, meaning you can't see it at all. So 0 is completely gone, 100 is completely there, and let's say 50 is halfway that filter being applied, or that action being applied. So only about 50% of it can be seen, and you can adjust this based on how much of it you want to see. And that's one of the main ones we're going to mess with, is adjusting the opacity of this action based on how much it affects the image. And then the second way that we're going to adjust this is through this mask that we have here. So this mask that we have on this action is this white box here. And what it basically means is that if we grab a brush, so we go over here to the brush tool, click on it, then we click on black, and then we pick the size of our brush. We can paint black on any part of the image while you have this selected, so you have to have the mask selected, which is this white box here. You can paint any part of the image, and that part will disappear. Now, let me show you. If I paint here, the action's not being affected on her, but it's affected on the rest of the image. I can paint here, and it's not being affected on the trees now. Or on here, or on here. And I've basically erased almost all of my action. But by doing it on a mask, what I can do is switch my color to white and then paint back on the action on the image. And you see here on the right side what part of the image is black, meaning it's not being shown, and what part of the image is white, meaning this action is being showed. So I'm painting it all white. And now we have all of it completely on again. But I'm not going to do it like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select black, and then up here where it says opacity, lower my opacity to 20%. I think 20% is a safe amount to use. And what that's going to do is it's going to paint black only 20%, meaning it's only going to erase 20% of that action in a certain part. So let's say I don't like how this action is hitting her hair. I can make my brush smaller and just paint her hair, brushing it once, holding my mouse and brushing this once, and only 20% of it has disappeared. You see this has a little gray mark of where her hair is, and then I can paint again, and then another 20% has erased, and then again, and then again. So about 60 to 80% of it has erased, and a little bit of the action is still visible, but at least I made the hair look natural rather than have that blue tint on top of it. So that's what I mean by using the mask to erase part of the action on the image. I find parts where I don't like, usually on the subject. In this case, it's this model. It hitting them, and I don't like how it hits them, so I can erase part of it on them. I start at 20% and then just keep brushing over and over, so it keeps getting darker and darker, my mask area, and then that part's erased from the image. It takes some practice. You're going to see many examples of me doing it throughout this course, but I just wanted to go over masks to getting rid of some of the parts that the action hit and the overall opacity of the action. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next section.